Well, I guess it's time for the game review. It's probably the shortest game, one of the shortest games I've ever played in my life. And I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell everyone. It's going to be like a 1 out of 10 for me. But with me, I don't know how everyone else scores, video games in particular. They have their critiques and everything. Mine comes from my own experience, my own interests. And I score them based off those particular things. And so it's like if you hear 1 out of 10 from me, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said before, it's like going to an assembly and you got these people handing out awards to everyone, and if you happen to get one, that's good. If there's only 10 awards to give out, you get one, good on you. So it's not a bad thing, because I think it's made, but I don't know the organization. I forget the name of the game already. It's oh, here comes the water line right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's pretty cool, isn't it? This is all done with shapes, by the way. Just basic geometry. Anyhow, I think it's called Weather on Ice or something like that. Let me see the freaking game title, because I keep forgetting it. It's right here. On the Ice Weather Station. Okay, so it's called On the Ice Weather Station. Sorry for forgetting the title. I only just played it tonight and beat it in one go. I added it to my library for a reason. I felt like it was something different in virtual reality, because a lot of the games I feel are not good or just not entertaining to me. I like to play things that are a little different, where I can experience things just like that. It's nothing too crazy. It's just like an experience out in the Arctic. It's like those scientists that are out there and, doing certain studies on the Earth, the planet, which is commendable. But I suppose there's nothing else I can say other than it was interesting. So I do give it a 1 for just being different, for just being in the libraries, so I don't have to play the other games that I really don't want to. If I never purchase a certain game or even try it, that's pretty bad. That says a lot. If I'm gonna try and review all my games in my library, but it's the games that are not in my library that are going to be an issue, because I'm very picky about what I play. And it's just not going to happen if I see a game that looks bad. And I've purchased a couple that were bad, but it's hard to tell because, anyways, I'm getting away from the subject here. So, what can I say about the game other than it was short and to the point? I felt like it had pretty cool dialogue. Even though there was a point in the game where it kind of just, I don't know if it glitched out and everyone just started talking over each other. I straight up blame the devs, but that happens, you know. I don't know if they didn't have time to like play through their game and make sure, because everyone plays different. Uh, they're gonna do things that you don't expect, so you know, I get it. Not everyone's playing VR. You don't have time to test your game a whole lot. I'll give it a pass. You know, if you, I would say add it to your library, just if you want to play something different. You know, it's in the Arctic or Antarctic. I don't know where it's at actually. But, I guess that's it, you know, but what would I like to see in the game? That's if they have the resources to actually put something in there. I don't even know if they're able to, because I mean, there was some scenes in there that I felt like they couldn't even make animations for. And for what they were able to do, I thought it was cool. It was fine. But if they are able to add things in, I'll try to be reasonable. I want to say there should be like an assortment of certain buildings to visit, like certain stations they have. I don't know if they're able to make those or not. I know they're certain. I mean, making a structure isn't as easy as it looks, especially if you have no idea of like how to design a building, because it has a certain style. You got to think of like the foundation, you know, how the walls are set up, just everything. But I would like to see some of that. Just certain, and you know, and a hike, maybe a hike through the freaking Arctic, and maybe just put some animals in there. If I don't know if there's any animals near the location where we were at, but you know, if they were able to put in, even if it's not near where we were, there's some things they could have just added in for extra. They could have added in an area where you could view whales from a distance if they can even animate them, and or maybe polar bears, penguins. You know, it doesn't take much. I mean, I wouldn't even have minded if they'd used VR Worlds to animate a certain area you can just visit, because it's doable. I mean, I did it with ancient lizards with basic shapes, so I don't see why they couldn't go the extra mile and do that, but I don't know. So let's see. There should be like a certain, maybe camping, something to do with interacting with camping equipment. Maybe even tell like a, you know, have the teammates interact, tell horror stories or camp horror stories or whatever. I say horror because, you know, I'm into scary games here and there, but you know, like you could have one guy discussing like The Thing, or another one discussing Cold Fear, which is a very old game now. I don't even think anyone knows what that is anymore. Yeah, that shows you how old I am, huh? Anyways, so yeah, I think those things are reasonable. You know, if you just add in like maybe a little a route you can walk and see sights. That's really all anyone would want. I don't see why they couldn't do that. You know, and just setting up animals and certain places. Maybe even visit certain real locations that they stay at and give us an idea of how they live and what they go through in an educational way. Like low temperatures equals frostbite, you know. That could be, I think that's a reasonable thing. Even if it's DLC, I welcome it. I would probably pay money just to have that in. But as far as the game itself, it's alright. It's nothing too crazy. It's kind of like a puzzle game in a sense. I don't know if you want to call it that, but it was alright. But a 1 out of 10. That's my final score for it. That's what I felt. I think that's a fair score for what it offers. And I like the little details they added inside the plane with the tools and the little, I'm going to call it a Game Boy, but I don't know what that thing was, but it made it different, I guess. So, that's it. 1 out of 10. And I guess I'll go on to the next game. By the way, I finished this game in almost 40 minutes, which is like my average time for like me beating a level in Orcs Must Die, which was way longer than it needed to be. It's just funny to me how I end up playing the longest game of virtual reality and then somehow end up playing the shortest game in virtual reality. That's just some weird luck to me. But I'm happy with it. I can't complain. I had a blast in both of them, so on to the next thing. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you on my next run, and whatever it is it's going to be.